Sì? Two. E anche qui sul cover.
1, 2, 3.
Sì.
Ok, quindi ne basta uno dopo che accendo io per presentarvi, giusto?
No, beh, meglio su due.
Ciao ragazzi, mi sentite? Come
Sì.
state? Mi vedete?
Hola.
Ciao. Ah, ciao.
Ciao
Come
Ricky,
va?
ciao Irmi.
Mi senti bene?
Benissimo,
Ottimo,
sì, sì.
Perfetto.
Anche voi a me?
Sì.
Sì,
Super.
metto un po'
Ok,
più volume un attimo.
d'accordo.
Cena.
Io mi sono collegato 2 volte, una dal cellulare che mi state sentendo da qua e un'altra volta dal PC per seguire
Ok.
anche le slide più grandi.
Così
Ok.
vuoi, devi
Buenos
presentare
días.
una cosa o...
No, tutto si fa
Da qui?
da lì dal Kennedy,
Ok. L'hai già
quindi
caricato e tutto quanto, ok.
Come lo
Adesso,
beh, non.
facciamo grande a lui? Così.
ecco, aspetta, togliamo
Perché all'inizio.
questo.
E ci manca solo l'ultima roba che è collegare
Yes.
a tutti.
È già acceso.
Ah, è
L'ho
acceso?
acceso prima, sì.
Ah, quindi ci stanno vedendo?
Sì.
Oh,
No,
oh.
vedono solo la scena fuori,
Ah,
la sala ho
dopo
messo.
fai
E
il.
dopo che devo andare su e
Ok.
devo stare su per quello.
Buongiorno, Gonza.
Quindi per adesso...
Hola, guapa.
Hola, guapo.
Ok, e non
Oye.
so se serve, casomai metti in mute dalla
Sì.
tua parte là quando, in modo che non c'è da fare da qui generalmente così.
Sì, io metto mute, ma quindi mi confermate che si sente e vede tutto ok.
Sì, però mi faccio un attimino a me, lo faccio co-host. Perché dovrei riuscire a controllarlo anche da sopra, quindi dalla sala
Ok.
regia. Hai acceso anche il YouTube anche?
No, sto vedendo solo diciamo,
Ok.
dallo Zoom.
Mhm. No, penso che sia Alvaro, Connie M, questo 1, 2, 3, 4. Ok, abbiamo tutti quanti là. Ok.
Perché poi Ricky, da quello che dice conferenza, è quella la camera, la videocamera che fa vedere, diciamo, tutto il salone.
Adesso ho solo su YouTube, su questo ho questa telecamera qui, no? Che
Ok,
non si vedrà si vedranno quelle buone, insomma, no? Queste
ok.
sono le webcam, no? Per Zoom, no? Mentre dopo dalla YouTube si vede dalle telecamere del sistema.
Ah,
Ok?
ok, quindi dal PC per vedere un po' il tutto e le presentazioni mi conviene collegarmi dal YouTube.
Esatto, quello in HD, insomma, no? Questo qua
Ok,
è Zoom, questo, insomma, lo puoi...
ottimo,
Ok.
benissimo.
È già in streaming, però ho già solo messo il salone, giusto per
Ok,
l'inizio. Va bene. Beh,
grazie
lascio
Ricky.
acceso qua dopo. Ok.
Sì,
Ciao.
mandi.
passato da una all'altra e io devo essere su per il streaming, no? E casomai dopo è anche acceso già il Zoom con Gonzalo, no? È già aperto e lui sente, dopo interagisce, dopo da lì di nuovo cambio.
No, non ce l'abbiamo. Gonza, ¿nos ves?
Sí, Irmi, perfecto.
Oye.
Y ahí estoy viendo la
Ok.
presentación.
Todavía no llega, ponte en mute porque se escucha súper fuerte el ratito. Te conectamos al ratito, ¿sale? Todavía no llega
Dale.
el presidente, así que te aviso por mensajito.
¿De acuerdo? Gracias, Irmi.
Bye. Buongiorno.
No, quello è un Samsung? Ah no, se no passamelo sulla... Air.
AirDrop tipo.
AirDrop, sì, sì,
Mamma
sì.
mia, meno male che abbiamo tecnologia.
Come si chiama questo?
Questo caro.
Carica New, sì, sì.
Noi stiamo mandando la presentazione dell'Assemblea
Uh,
via AirDrop
per
cioè,
scrivere
perché è troppo grande, non
OneDrive.
voglio mettere. Ma io non lo so perché abbiamo messo troppe foto, troppi ricordi. Ok, questo era
Ok, dovrebbe essere qua.
che sì, tipo vabbè tu ora farai foto, tutto, poi faccio 5 minuti foto. Come ti fanno farò? Faccio un po' di foto per il mio Instagram personale. Mamma mia.
E si chiama... Ops.
Ricky, il file ce l'ho già scaricato io. Serve che te lo giri via mail. Un attimo solo. Ah, ok. D'accordo, va bene, prego. Serve qualcosa, Teo?
E con questo, accendendo il microfono.
Adesso sto un attimo. Tra quanto tempo? Ok.
Adesso sono accesi i microfoni.
Tanto scarico. Questo è scaricato, Riccardo. Non so se questo qui è la presentazione. Hello, good afternoon, everybody. We are about to start, just 5 minutes. Thank you very much.
Ok.
Bene.
Sono accesi i microfoni.
Okay, I think we can start. Welcome, welcome everybody to the annual reunion of MIB Trieste Alumni Association. First of all, we're very sorry for the delay we are starting with because there were some accidents on the road to Trieste, as some of you might have experienced, and also some delays in the trains, so sorry about that. We will have a very tight agenda, though, and first of all, I will leave the stage to our president, the president of MIB Trieste Alumni Association, Gonzalo Moreno Miceli, that is unfortunately online because of something that he will tell you himself. Here he is. I bet you can see it. See him?
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me properly?
Yes. Yeah, we hear you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Luca. Well, good afternoon. It is great to see that all of you decided to join us in our beloved mystical Ferdinandeo Palace, and I know that many of us are also online. It is with great sorrow that this occasion I am sitting on the bench, not being able to be with you in person right now. As some of you know, I am still on a sickness leave given an accident I suffered a few months ago. I'm doing fine. There are still some things to be fixed, let's say. Nonetheless, I will be able to join you at tonight's social dinner, so we will be able to hug each other. Now, well, let us focus on the 3 Ps we have chosen as main topic for our 2022 reunion: ecological transition, people, planet, profit, people, planet, prosperity, maybe. First of all, I want to thank the 3 distinguished keynote speakers who are joining us today to share with us their views and help us reflect on the matter. Thank you, Connie. Thank you, Massimo. Thank you, Alessandro. As a board, we have decided to choose this topic because we feel that it is time for a call for action. There are several ideas and programs already in place, but their effectiveness relies on the collective effect of our actions, both as individuals and as companies. We will also share an overview of the current and future roles of renewable energies and smart packaging. In all these cases, via concrete and practical examples that will make us reflect on our behavior. This year, we have decided to include, as part of our annual reunion, the MIB Alumni Business Corner, a space where MIB alumni entrepreneurs can increase their brand's awareness and the whole community can broaden our network. You will all later have the chance to meet and discuss with Raji, Lisa, Franco, Roberto, and Patrizio. We will then spend a few moments on our annual assembly, in which we will share with you a summary of last year's activities, new initiatives that we have on track, and let you share your feedback with us, which we really appreciate. It will be a pleasure, as I told you, to meet you later at our social dinner. I also know that many of you will enjoy Sunday's activities, both in the Golf Club di Trieste and in the Trieste tour guided by Professor Piloto. Prior to leaving the floor to Professor Piloto for making an address on the name of the school, let me thank personally the Presidente del Consiglio Comunale di Trieste, Cavaliere Francesco Di Paola Panteca, for his collaboration and support. La invito a salire sul palco e prendere la parola per un suo breve intervento. Prego. Thank you all and enjoy our 2022 Alumni Reunion.
Gonzalo, buongiorno. Noi abbiamo già avuto
Buongiorno, Cavaliere.
Buongiorno. Noi abbiamo già avuto modo di vederci e anche di sentirci in call, dove abbiamo fatto l'approfondimento di alcuni argomenti. Adesso vediamo se riusciamo anche a raggiungere qualche, qualche obiettivo su quelli che ci siamo dati. Io mi sono già mosso da quando sono rientrato dalle vacanze e a breve vi incontrerete con gli uffici del Comune per vedere se c'è la possibilità, sicuramente ci sarà, ma più che altro le modalità di organizzare questo evento anche durante la barcolana, insomma un evento così importante, così poi potete portare anche il Comune di Trieste in giro per il mondo, così lo possono conoscere un po' tutti quanti. Voi siete...
Assolutamente sì.
Sì, bene. Allora,
la ringrazio.
Prima di continuare a dire altro, volevo portare i saluti dell'amministrazione comunale, del sindaco Roberto Di Piazza, e vi saluto a tutti quanti. Lui ci tiene molto, sta molto vicino ai giovani, per questo ci siamo sentiti, mi ha raccomandato di portare anche il suo saluto, anche perché l'amministrazione incentiva sempre queste iniziative. Poi che dire, voi siete una bellissima associazione internazionale dove portate un po' voi partite dal sociale, dalla cultura e veicolate in tutto il mondo quelle che sono gli interessi comuni, quelli che dovrebbero poi essere l'interesse di tutti. Oggi mi sembra tratterete un po' l'ambiente, quello mi stava spiegando il professor Pilotto, e questo poi specialmente in questo momento è un elemento di particolare interesse, no? Noi sappiamo le difficoltà che tutta l'Europa, ma anche tutto il mondo sta riscontrando in questo momento. Per questo mi fa piacere avere un confronto, vedere le realtà diverse, e voi magari poi con il vostro modo di essere riuscite poi a costruire anche un mondo intero. È diverso, volevo dire. Bene, allora io non voglio farvi perdere altro tempo, speriamo, vi auguro buon lavoro a tutti quanti e ci sentiremo a breve, io penso, in un prossimo evento che si farà in Piazza Unità. Credo che sarà così. Grazie ancora e buon lavoro.
So Gonzalo, I don't know if you want to present the next guest, that is on behalf of the MIB Trieste School of Management. I'm going on.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
For us, please welcome Professor Pilotto.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends of the MIB family. Our school is extremely happy to host this annual reunion. The school is happy to support you for what you are doing today, tomorrow, in the future. The school will always be happy to assist you when you need it for your activities, and considers you as you know, the ambassadors of our school all over the world. I am particularly happy to see in this beautiful central hall of the mystical Ferdinandeo Palace many friends that have been studying here some years ago, coming from very different countries. A lady from India who was not here since 20 years, friends from Brazil just arrived, but also friends from all over Asia, China, Europe, Africa. Our school, as you know, is an element of internationalization of education, and we would like to go on in this. We would like to support this. So today, Saturday, the 10th of September, we will write another page of our common activity together, and on behalf of the school, we congratulate you and we support you. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you, Gonzalo, and thank you for all the organizational committee of this event, and thank you to my colleague Valentina Savino, who has been working a lot on this too. Thank you a lot.
Thank you very much, Professor Pilotto. Just want to remove Gonzalo from behind. So let me just outline briefly the agenda we will go through. We'll have 3 speakers, as you can see, and we will have Connie Mateos, that will be our first speaker. Then after her, Massimo Alvaro will give us his speech, and after that speech we will have a coffee break. After that coffee break, we will listen to the speech of Alessandro Vezzil. The different speeches will last more or less 15 minutes, and then we will have 5 to 10 minutes to make questions. So please, Connie, if you want to... Jessica will introduce you. So I'll leave the stage to Jessica Parutto, another member of the board.
Thanks, Luca. Good afternoon to all. My name is Jessica Parutto. I'm Executive MBA 20 and a part of the Alumni Board. The topic of this year is very important for all of us, especially for the period that we are living, but also for our future. Today, as anticipated by Luca and also by Gonza, 3 excellent speakers will tell us about their experience linked to the ecological transition. People, planet, profit. Different declination, different projects, different ideas, but one common view, the importance of the transition. The first speaker is Connie Mateos. She's a consultant with more than 15 years of experience working with leading companies from 20 different countries in Latin America, USA, and Europe. Constanza helps companies comply with international standards to achieve financing from multilateral credit organizations through environmental and social assessment. For the past 6 years, she's been the Community Liaison Officer for more than 70 sustainable projects around the globe. Today, connected to our topic, she'll tell us about energy transition, renewable energy, and 3P. Connie, I leave you the stage. Thank
Okay, everyone, thank you for inviting me here. For me, it's a pleasure to be here with my colleagues. I'm going to try to go fast because I have a lot of pictures, interesting pictures that I want you to see. And I'm going to talk specifically about a renewable energy case, about how constructing an wind farm can impact the 3 Ps, and of course renewable energy impacts on the energy transition. Any questions you can shoot out, be just confident. We know that for the energy transition, we need to go through renewable energy, energy efficiency to get to the 0 carbon, the objective that we have. And this impacts on profit, planet, and people, our 3 Ps. And renewable energy projects is doing business, avoiding environmental impacts, and adding value to the society. How? I'm going to show it to you right now. And this is how we add value with the renewable energy projects to the sustainable development, and one of the sustainable development goals of 2030, number 7, that is increasing sustainability, the share of renewable energy in the global energy mix. I'm going to show you right now how is our energy mix in this year and how we're moving forward to achieving this goal. Well, here's a picture of me and how I involve myself in the 3 Ps of what I do day by day. There where you see Peru, I'm going to try to maybe this, yeah, where you see Peru, we are here with the financial banks, profit, trying to discover the ground and if it's profitable for us to develop the project. Here I'm talking to the people that are going to be near the project, and here, of course, the planet that we're looking for. So let's start about profit, the first P.
We know today that we have a lot of drivers to develop this kind of projects. I'm not going to talk about the war in Ukraine, but we know that there is a huge driver. But energy itself will decrease. It will decrease the price, and it will double its demand. As you can see, this is the price and how coal and natural gas back in 2014, and now the competitive back into 2020, it changed from coal to onshore wind and offshore wind. So we can clearly see how it went from gray and black to, well, yellow and blue. And during COVID, we all know what happened, but just for us to have a number, it increased like 3% the demand of renewable energy. It was huge. But today, we are just about 17% of the energy matrix deploying like renewable energy. We need to move forward. And how do we do this? Of course, investing more and more in renewable energy. So just for us to have an idea, for 2050, we are expecting that the solar and wind will each supply 31% of the energy matrix instead of 17%, and the fossil share will decline to 17%, so there will be a balance. Let's cross our fingers. Just some questions. How much do you think that it was the investment in the last decade in renewable energy? Just shoot a number. Because we have investment and we need to have profits. A number. Yeah. It's a decade. Okay, I know I don't have that much time, so that's why I'm going to go for it. So it's 2.6 trillion. That's a lot. It's 3 times the amount invested in the previous decade. So if we go like in this decade that we are now times 3 or more, the investment is really huge. And actually the investment in renewable energies was 3 times more combined in between coal and gas. And we've reached like 29 countries, all of them investing more than $1 billion. So it's a lot of money. Profit, we need to have profit from this, right? In the last decade, this is the number of the profit. Compared to the fossil fuels is a lot. It's 367. So who doesn't want to invest in renewable energy, right? I would. We know that during COVID, that the green energy stocks were less volatile than fossil fuels, and in between 2019 and 2030, the global GDP will increase, and it will create more than 85 million energy transition-related jobs. And this number is really impressive. So for every $1 spent for an energy transition, there's a payoff of in between $3 and $7. So whoever has $1, let's make a group together and let's invest in renewable energy. But with technology, do you think that attracted the most? Solar, wind? Solar, wind, biomass, I don't know. And how much, more or less? Solar, yes, solar. Solar, 1 trillion, wind, solar 1.3, wind 1 point, and biomass 1.5. We are looking forward to wind surpass solar, because wind needs less ground or site to develop renewable energy, and actually wind produces more and is more profitable than solar. But solar is more easy to build, and it's more easy, and it takes less time to build a solar PV than a wind. So that, for example, here, I'm gonna go quick, but here there's this video. I took this video last week from an airplane I was coming back from Peru to the Netherlands, and so how investment is going. This is an offshore wind farm. Countries are investing on this. This is amazing. I was coming back from Peru, and everyone, all the sea was like this. And for us to have an idea, of course, China is the country that invests the most, but we are not that behind. We are 98 billion, and China is 758. So we're almost there. well, companies, of course, are investing in this. Enel, we know Enel, their brewer in Colombia is 100% sustainable. Right now, if you go to Colombia and you drink a beer, you know that they've made it through sustainable energy. I don't want to stop on this, but we know that our target in Europe was to, the energy mix was to be 20%, and we surpassed it. We're glad we surpassed it, and now with the Russian invasion in Ukraine, we want to we developed a new REPowerEU plan, and we want to challenge ourselves because we know we're gonna have problems this winter. I don't wanna get into that, but we need to invest in renewable energy. Planet. Just quickly, what are the big benefits about investing on renewable energy? We can limit the average global temperature to 2 degrees or below. We can avoid up to 20 gigatons of energy released carbon dioxide by 2030. And this is really important because this saves lives. We could reduce the air pollution enough to save up to 4 million lives per year. So the question is, how do we go from this? That's me, I don't know if you see me. So how do we go from this Patagonia, to this, right? In the enough time or the short time that we have to make this happen. How? This is the answer with renewable energy. Renewable energy itself can provide 90% of the carbon emissions reductions needed by 2050. Some of the other technological avenues that can help this, but as we see is renewables, energy efficiency, electrification. All this come together with renewable energy. So it's more or less this number. And here, I'm gonna show you like how is a renewable energy constructed. I mean, this is really important because if we want to get into this wave, we need to know how and why and how to get involved. This is a business case of a renewable energy park, wind farm, in Patagonia. These are 27 wind turbines. It has, which in total has a power of 97 megawatts, energy production of 380, and it powers 120,000 homes per day. I mean, it gets to 120,000 homes per day. Why Patagonia? Why Argentina? As you can tell, I have this Argentinian accent. This is the wind map of the world. Here is Patagonia. Here is the project that I'm talking about. Patagonia has one of the most powerful wind resources of the world. And as you can see here in Europe, they're all offshore, right? As I was showing you before about the Netherlands. Here in Patagonia, it's all onshore. It's much cheaper to build a wind farm onshore than offshore. Of course, two very important things. We need to be sure that if we build a wind farm, we can connect ourselves to the national system, and that we are not generating any environmental impact. This is how a wind turbine is formed. Can you tell me more or less how much is the altitude of this? Just shoot a number. Meters, in meters? How much? 50? No. 150, more or less, yes. It's like 154 meters. This equals to, yeah, that's a football pitch, just for you to have an idea. I'm gonna go quick because I know that I don't have that much time. And to build this kind of projects, you need to first prepare the site ground, test the roads, yes, because a lot of components will be going through. This is the part of the foundations, and here where the cables will go through. This is my job. I do this every day. I'm not a technician, but I'm on the social part. I'm going to tell you afterwards. This is how you build the foundations. You have approximately 500 cube meters of concrete to build this. And this is how they end up. And this is really important because after this, you put on the towers. This is how components get to site. They travel approx like 40 kilometers per hour, so it's really dangerous, and you need to really get into dialogue with the community and tell them, okay, we're gonna do this, this, and that. You need to have a traffic management plan, so relationship with the community, and here afterwards I'm gonna talk about people. It's really important, because if someone wants to surpass this kind of trucks, they're not gonna make it, unfortunately. This is how you install the wind turbines. This is divided in three towers, 1, 2, 3, and this is, we call it the star. You prepare the star on the ground, and then you lift it up, like this. This is fast forward, okay? It takes like 1 hour or so, and you need to know the wind. And there were people just grabbing the thing and everything for it to lift it up. It's really a really amazing job. And this is to end this is a substation that you connect all the cables to a substation where you transform the energy, and when it goes to the national system. And afterwards, it's the office of the people that go there and work every day. Okay, some final pictures about projects. So people, and this is what I do. Actually, this is my job. I am a consultant in social management systems for different projects. And people is really important, because what happens? All these kind of projects require investment from international organizations, and like FMO, the World Bank. And all these organizations require that you comply with international standards, either environmental or social standards. And that you have an environmental and social management system to reduce and mitigate the impacts that you're gonna make on the communities, on the environment, and of course on the business when you develop this kind of projects. We're talking about billions in investment. So here's where all the 3 Ps get combined, right? And for me to make sure that the company can make this, I need to gain the social license to operate. The social license to operate is like the legal license to operate. You can sign on a contract, and that's fine because you have the law behind. But social license to operate, it's not mathematics. Either you have a good relationship with your community or you don't. But we need to work on this, and we need to invest in the community, dialogue with the community, and this is how the P of the people get here in place. There's no way we can develop one of these projects, of these renewable energy projects, without investing on the community. This was like me, for example, 20 days ago in Peru, talking with the community and making sure we have a social impact assessment in place, stakeholder engagement plan in place, and we take care of the community health and safety and communications, of course, with the community. People that maybe they have the wind turbine like 20 meters away from their home, that's unacceptable. But if that happens because the national law didn't, because maybe the national law is lower than the international law, and that happened, we try to move forward and see what we can do for these communities. I don't know, some pictures of all the projects that I've been involved in with people throughout the renewable energy projects. I'm not going to stand that much on this, but these are a lot of problems that happen. For example, I had a lot of problems in Taiwan with the offshore wind because the offshore turbines were in the way of the fishermen, and the fishermen said, "Wait, I'm going to lose my job. I mean, the fish are going to go away. How am I going to fish if I'm not having the same path that I'm used to be?" So you can have a lot of stakeholder opposition, and my clients say that I go around turning off fires, but the important thing about this is thinking beforehand and thinking about people, profit, and planet. Like, put your plans on place, develop this kind of things, and you will avoid all this kind of things, and you will, of course, get to here instead of here. If you don't develop environmental and social management plans, you will lose all this investment. Because, of course, this incidents occurred during the development of a project. So to conclude, and I know that I'm on time, to conclude, the renewable energy projects, at least the ones that I'm involved in, they impact directly on the 3 Ps, people, profit, and planet. But the important thing here is that we have a challenge, is that we have to manage them correctly. We have to develop environmental and social management plans to take care of the 3 Ps if we want to move forward the energy transition in a responsible way. And I love this picture. Why I love this picture? Because here you can see profit, planet, and people all together. This is the opening of PV plant back in Argentina in 2010, and you can see planet, you can see profit, these are the CEOs, and you can see people. We invited the community to the opening assembly. So this is like the perfect picture of how we're all combined in this incredible new industry, and I hope we can all invest in renewable energy. Questions?
Thank you very much, Connie. She's already asked, but is there any question from the audience in attendance? Question from there? Just a minute, I will give you the mic. Is this working? Which one is working? The two? Valentina, maybe you can help us.
Do you want to come here and ask?
Or maybe you can come here. Vieni qui. No, come here, come here. No, because the audience online wouldn't hear.
You can come here. You can come here. Yeah.
Well, the question is, I appreciate that building the onshore and offshore plants it's beneficial, right? Also to the environment. But as we know, the CO2 emissions are going to stay in the atmosphere. So, even though if we reduce the level, there will be a part of it. I think they calculated that 65% of the CO2 emissions are going to stay in the atmosphere. So in parallel to these projects, there is a plan to reinvest part of the profit in systems that can reduce the CO2 components that stays in the atmosphere, especially planting trees in the areas where that is, of course, sustainable, right? They are going to stay for the future.
Yeah, okay, thank you for your question. As I said, I'm not a technician or I'm not in charge of the environmental aspects of the project, but it's interesting what you said because during my social activities and community relations activities that I do with the communities where these projects are deployed, I do a lot of planting trees. I know it's not enough, but just to give you an example, for example, a renewable energy wind farm project, when it goes to site, to ground, how much % do you think that the environment is affected? Yeah. 5%. Because the only thing that remains untouchable are the roads. Right? I'm gonna maybe show you a picture. It's just this. Look, the rest of the site grows. It grows back. If you go today, look, just this. So it's 5% of the project. If you go today to these projects, you'll see that it's all green. So it's just 5%. That is not much compared to what it gives you back. Maybe we can talk about it later, and I can connect you with someone that knows more about environmental than I do. Happy to do that, so.
Some more questions? Yes? There. Professor, could you please hand Yes. We exploit the Professor Pilot. Thank you, Professor.
I think this is running.
I
think that green energy is no-brainer, but I still have a question on storage because I don't know how much is the global demand. Now we are not yet done with the 100% of requirements, and therefore we are still providing the globe with different sources. And I see that already now in the companies, the topic is where I can store my energy that I'm producing for solar plants. It's not wind turbines. And therefore, my question is, if we would be able to have everything done by wind, for example, where should we store this energy?
Gianni, grazie mille. Actually, this is an excellent question. I've done Origini 2 years ago, and I've done my internship in Varsila, and my project was about storage in the renewable energy. This is a huge problem. I had a lot of slides, but this was not the topic of today, and we can discuss it later. Storage is a huge problem, but a huge opportunity. What happens is when there's no wind, you don't produce, but when there's more wind and you don't have demand, what do you do with that energy? You're gonna throw it away. No, you need the batteries. The same happens with the sun. What happens during the night? You know, or what happens during the day? You generate a lot of energy, and where do you put it? So, for example, in Argentina, where I have or in Latin America, where I have the most experience, there are no storage systems, but here in Europe there are. It's expensive, but we're going towards that, and it's excellent. It's the next step. It's the next step, and a lot of companies are going through it. Actually, I have a client that now it's a Spanish client that now it's turning away. It was under the renewable energy industry, and now it's turning to storage. But I think the industry, it's on it. It's on it. I have a lot of slides. Actually, Professor Piloto was on my presentation 1 year ago, and we can talk about it later. But I didn't want to extend the 15 minutes that I had.
Thank you, Connie, for your presentation. I have one remark and one question. Remark is, you mentioned which is the target of the European Union to be carbon neutral by 2050, to reduce at less than 2 Celsius degrees. But then you also show that there is another figure which is 1.5. There is always confusion. If we have to reduce by 2 or by 1.5, there is a big, of course. Okay. And second, my question is, if you show then back your slide on the replan of the European Union, and which is your personal advice, your personal opinion about the plan that we have in front of us, because now we have more complicated situation in Europe, and what was planned 2 years ago maybe will not be planned now. We don't know what's going on in the next months, of course. So I would like to ask you, which is your personal opinion about our roadmap to carbon neutral?
Thank you, Professor. I think this is a really ambitious plan, but we have in front of us a situation that was not planned, that is the Russian invasion. The objective of the 2022 REU plan is to rapidly reduce dependence on Russian fossil fuels before 2030. I mean, we've done this. Our objective was to achieve by 2020 20% of the renewable energy matrix. We've surpassed it to 22%, but that's just 22%. I don't think that we are going to make it to this point. I wish we could, and I think that there's a driver that is the war. And all my clients are trying to invest more in this, and they're trying to get more finance from all the development banks, and I cross my fingers that we can achieve this goal. And I think, to answer, I think it's a really good roadmap. I think it's real. I really think it's real. 2020, this was a real target, and we surpassed it. This is a real target, and we hope at least we can achieve it, given the situation. I know, but Germany as well is one of the leaders in renewable energy. I had the numbers. I didn't put them here because I was gonna talk for like 1 hour. But Germany is #1 in Europe in renewable energy. I didn't want to put it because we are in Italy and we are all mostly Italians here, so I didn't want to put that competition between Germany and Italy. But I have that information and I can send it to you later. Germany is #1. And I think we're going to be able to make it, mainly because of the Russian invasion. And Europe has forced together, due to the invasion, has made a really good European team. And I hope that we can get through the objective. Yeah.
If it's very fast, because we need to move on, it's great that we have so many questions.
So this is related to the last question. Are you working with the Italian regulator to make it more friendly? Because I speak by experience. I have a power plant in Italy, and the last 10 years, the regulation has been extremely unfriendly about new investments in Italy.
Yeah, thank you. That's a problem because in all the countries that the renewable energy projects have succeeded is because there are policies that like reinforce this kind of investments, right? So that's a problem in Italy. I'm not working, but if you want to contact me, I'll be happy to work with them.
Thank you, Connie. Thank you very much indeed, and applause to Connie. Jessica, please present the next speaker.
Yes, the next speaker is Massimo Alvaro. He's a managing director for Business Assurance Italy in DMV, advisory across the entire energy value chain, including renewable energy, oil, gas, and energy management. Previously, he spent 7 years in a Lloyd's register, covering several roles before appointed vice president in 2017, with both responsibility of a whole business line, assurance, and also global sales director role. In the past, he has worked in the EV industry sector for important corporations such as Wärtsilä and Ansaldo Sistemi Industriali in process engineering, manufacturing, and sales. Today, connecting to our topic, he tells us about people, planet, profit, a call for action. Massimo, I leave you the stage.
Thank you very much for the invite, and apologies to wear the tie, but it was a unique opportunity to wear the MIB tie. So that's why I'm so formal. I don't want to appear too formal today. It's a celebration day and opportunity to meet each other. My PowerPoint is, here. Oh, maybe it's already over. Is here, okay. So, basically, as has been mentioned already, this is the topic, and I would like to start on the why we are here talking about this subject. And I thought better than many words could worth to share a video, which comes from the World Economic Forum.
What kind of world do I want to live in? I think about this question a lot.
For our generation and for specifically my group of people, which is refugees, the circumstances might dismantle any vision of the future that we have.
You're trying to rebuild, you're trying to make a future for yourself, and then the climate-related disaster comes and you start again. It's not about how it's affecting you now, it's about how it's affecting you your entire life.
First step to understand is that we're all a part of it. None of us are going to be left out by the crisis.
We're at a stage where if we don't act now, really there won't be very much left.
There are generations that will never see certain things that we grew up seeing in real life.
We have to start treating this like the emergency it is. To achieve the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, we have to go from an intention to a serious commitment.
Business leaders really need to rethink how they conduct their business and invest in creating systems that are climate friendly.
The action I would like to see is accountability. Structures being put in place where countries aren't just asked to do something, but they're kept accountable to the decisions that they make.
There has to be that strong collaboration between government, between corporations, between youth activists to drive change forward.
The world I would want to live in is a world where imagining the future is not a privilege.
I want to live in a world where people do not give up on hope that a positive change is possible.
The fact that you're listening today means that you are willing to make a change.
So it's quite self-explanatory how the situation is looking like. So this, as we said, was from one of the most privileged point of view, which is the World Economic Forum for the Sustainability Summit of 2021. I want to start with my speech with what do we mean about sustainability, because sometimes it looks about a very overutilized word, but with the type of content sometimes it looks empty if we don't follow some actions. So the major focus is too much on the environment aspect. While we can see the three dimension we need to look like is environment, of course, as a first, economic and social. In this very moment, it's like the economical bubble or the economical pillar is prevailing the others. So that's why is the situation of instability. Why now? Because we heard about sustainability, energy transition, and all these aspects for many years, at least myself since I was at the primary school. But why we are in such an emergency mood? Because, of course, we're talking about resource scarcity. There's a climate change aspect that we feel in our life each and every year, and it is now coming tangible. And last but not least, we have health impact. I don't want to go too deep into very serious thing. It's just if we think about allergies or intolerances driven by pollution, this is already something tangible. So basically, the real change that we are looking now is that we pass from a dimension where it was a problem of somebody else to a problem that is touching ourselves as a person. So now it's really is tangible. It's touching each and all of us as an individual. The why we are here, where we are, is about the as-is situation. And I really want to thank Connie, which of course have shared a lot of extremely positive aspects. But of course, as she shared before, the roadmap is still really long. Because, don't misunderstand me, I spent, as per my CV, more than 10 years in oil and gas sector. And I really believe that there is a bright future for this sector, a sustainable future. But of course, if we look on this direction, 70% of fossil resources, and when we're talking about fossil resources, we speak about resources that are going to renew in millions of years. So it's not something we are going to live in our life. The renewable looks like still irrelevant as a percentage. So if you look over the last 2 centuries, the amount of power produced is huge compared to the number of power produced from renewable energy. Next point is about the people dimension. And of course, if we look about the food situation, we have a really urgent call to action. The food demand is going to be 70% bigger in 2050. But it's not that the number that should scare us the most, because the really frightening number is the fact that 1/3 out of the total food that we are producing now is wasted. And this is the result of a large distribution, companies, group of people, individuals. But if I'm going to ask to all of you if you would throw the food you have in your house, 1/3 out of it, or if you want to throw 1/3 of the money you have in the pocket, you would tell me, are you crazy? But that's the result of the total population. The social aspect is quite interesting as well, because the 13% of the total population in the world is living on extreme poverty situation. It means below $2 a day. And including also the gender wage gap, so the gap between male and female salaries, still the road is extremely important to be done. Because if we look, EU is a 10% of difference, which may look as a good number, but the good number is 0, of course. And countries like Romania are quite excellent on that direction, because Romania apparently have almost reached the parity gap. But if you look at countries like Korea, we are above 30% of a gap. And of course, all these things, so taking urgent decisions, are delayed by political instabilities, wars, and of course, the social situation is not going to be easier. Profit dimension, which apparently is important. The as-is situation is, of course, that we use resources to take economical advantage. So I do erode resources. Let's take the example of the Middle East with oil. For a number of decades, I own the oil, and of course I have a competitive advantage between other countries. But of course now we are looking also this about rare materials, such as lithium or permanent magnets. And of course this is a win-lose approach. But of course we have also a produce to replace type of approach. Just this morning I had to replace my dishwasher because it was much more convenient to buy a new one instead of repairing it. That's not sustainable at all. It's a short-term horizon, of course, until we are in this situation, and it's a win-lose approach. But of course, I may have sounded a little bit negative. Who knows me? I'm a very positive guy, optimistic. We are in a fantastic day, meeting each other all together, and I'm absolutely happy. Looking also forward this evening to have a fantastic dinner with all of you and have a toast of white glass wine. So in the remaining part of the presentation, I would like to give the perspective, the where we want to go, which is not that negative at all, but we need what we heard before, commitment. The first good news is that since 2015, we have a United Nations global commitment with 17 goals, international, affecting and influencing all the countries. Now there is a clear agenda. There is a clear agenda in EU, and there is a clear commitment with countries. So you may have seen a lot of indirect results in the intervention also in the countries, but of course the reducing carbon aspect and of course the no poverty, zero hunger intervention are of course part of the agenda at 360 degrees. But of course there is not commitment just by the countries and the institution, also companies should do that. And you may say, okay, Massimo, you picked a very nice picture in the web, you are telling us a very nice story on where we are going, but what are you doing as a business leader and what your company is doing, of course? Because it's not anymore the case of do what I say and don't do what I do. To be credible, we need to exactly do what we say. And as a company now, as DNV, we certify according to a lot of standards, according to sustainability. So we certify companies according to several standards, such as energy efficiency and food sustainability and a number of standards. But of course, as a supplier, we wanted to do our homework, and we have been awarded this year as a top 1% worldwide suppliers according to sustainability, scoring 77 out of 100 as a result. One point up to the other is that we are using now more than 50% of renewable energies in our premises. And we are a company of 2 billion euro as a revenue, more than 14,000 employees over the world. And touching the point you mentioned before, how you can neutralize carbon, this is a very interesting project with the carbon seaweed. So we are working together with a joint venture with Equinor as well, with a carbon capture project, so capturing carbon through seaweed. And the aim is, of course, a good start and a good step, but we're aiming through this platform to, let's say, capture 1 million of tons of CO2. As your comment is absolutely extremely pertinent. Profit. I've said this also to the MIB consortium a few months ago. I really believe that we can achieve sustainability when sustainability will be convenient. It's, I know that it's not such a romantic sentence, but that should be the case. And we need more and more to talk about sustainability return of investment. A clear example of this is the energy efficiency. Until the cost of energy is low, no matter what, how I'm consuming energy, that was the trend over the last year. But now that gas price have jumped of 1 digit more, is of course the case that consuming less gas is going to be convenient. But it's not only that, and we have to take care about raw materials. Produce to replace cannot be anymore the case. Produce to replace is not going to be an option to have sustainability because the raw material is going to not be anymore available. Lithium now, for the energy storage, there was a question before, there will be scarcity about that material. How are we going to recover the lithium from the batteries? And how successful are we to recover raw materials? So the direction is a circular economy. It's a circular economy that brings, of course, raw material back to the stage one. And of course, all the assets need to be thought in a circular manner to then, when dismantled, bring back the nature that it was before that asset was built. Finally, the key point is, isn't all about people behaviors. We are in a business school. I'm in front of leaders, managers, business people. And of course, people leaders have a lot of power to make things happen. So talking to leaders and working to the leadership of the people is the key and the roadmap. And so I would like to take a sentence of Professor Andrew Hargreaves from the Boston College, which says that basically a system cannot be self-sustainable, but a system should be sustainable if I feed the system. To sustain means to nourish, to feed. What we are doing now is to erode resources from the system and hope the system to be sustainable. This works also to let's say, to leaders. And another important point is that sustainable leadership means to not look on the short term, so looking on all the green KPIs I'm achieving, but of course to prepare a system to face the future challenges. That's why we have been quite unprepared to face this situation. I'm just back at a leadership meeting last week in Paris where I had the privilege to meet Christian Ørsted, and I wanted to also quote him in this slide, to understanding how to create a fearless organization, a sustainable organization. A sustainable organization, if we look on the top part, is of course an organization which has an open culture where we are free to speak up, to raise problems, to raise mistakes, to speak freely. Sometimes if you don't flag problem or mistakes in the system, you are good. A system where decision making, we don't agree all together. If we all agree about something, it means that maybe we're not ready to take a decision. The third one is a very important point. Listen the quiet voices. Listen the quiet voices. In a group, in a team, most of the time, the most vocal people tend to kill the most quiet ones. As a leader, we should have the commitment to go to listen also the most quiet one, but also the diversity of a team. Not thinking all in an equal manner. If you still are diverse, you are a minority and you don't count anything. And so in the basic point, a responsibility of a leader is to create a safe environment to do this, to frame behaviors, not blaming culture, not sarcasm to kill, of course, the discussion, to be a role model, and of course, to ask and learn from feedback. But what's the opposite of this organization? Let's look what it's looking like. So the fatal leadership looks like this. Of course, it's a provocation. The Titanic maybe was a very large organization, really big, pretty well organized. But probably if I can take an example, the leader didn't ask for advice during a mistake, and probably if you have a management team that continue to play the violin when you're doing mistakes, it's not the right direction to go. So I'm really at the last slide of my presentation, and into a circular perspective, I want to be back to the first video. And so maybe the inputs we got from the first video can be also the conclusion of this presentation. Is really we are at the stage that there's no much time left. We need to act now. To achieve all the 17 goals, we need commitment. But equally, we need accountability, to be accountable on what we are saying, not to be something on a greenwashing stage. We need to do things, to be green really and sustainable. And the point that we are all here talking about this, it means that there's really willingness to make a change. And of course, we all want to live in a world where thinking about the future is not a privilege. Thank you for listening, and I'm ready for questions.
Thank you very much, Massimo, especially for the timing of your speech. Perfect. So, is there any question from the audience here in attendance? Or otherwise, I will ask Gonzalo.
Yes, can you hear me?
If there are questions from online. Yes, Gonzalo, we can hear you.
Yes, here there is one question that says, how much time do you estimate it will take to get from this concept to market?
That's a very good question. If we look to the 17 development goals, the time is ticking already, and so we should have ahead 8 to 9 years. But of course, I think if we look about the single companies and corporation, it's the time to have really a commitment to understand that if we don't go in that direction, nothing will happen. And are not a really easy process to arrive. So I'm not sure that if we're going to stick with the 2030 agenda, but at least I really believe, and also for what Connie have shared before, that till 2030 we will have done a lot.
Thanks.
Something more, Gonzalo, from online, or any inspiration from here? No? Is there a...
Actually,
yes. Oh,
yes,
sorry,
there is
just wait a minute, Gonza.
Question, if I may.
Wait just a minute, Gonza. I don't know if you can hear me from the other one.
Yes.
We have a question.
We have a question.
Please.
So Massimo, first of all, thank you very much for the time you spent putting this together. Of course, it looks fantastic. I think as DMV, you have a privileged point of view about what is happening within the companies. Is there maybe like an example that you can share with us about a company that is doing something brilliant or a trend that you're seeing?
Yeah, very good question. So, first of all, typically the approach is reactive. So I have a problem. I have the situation, particularly now with the gas price increase. But let's say, and then there is the reaction to do something. I have been recently in Vicenza area, let's say, in the consortium of working leather, and I think I have also already made some post in LinkedIn about that. Where, of course, we noticed that there is the intention of high energy consumption company, like the leather manufacturing companies, to reutilize energy. So becoming like a small power plants, reusing energy. And so we saw high jump of energy efficiency, even in small consortium. But the driver was always looking on a bill, how much I'm spending about energy, and then going there. So I think that the wake-up call we are having at the moment can be really an example. So we would like to see much more replicating this type of example, because most of the time the first salary is how much is going to cost me the certification. So I believe that the tendency should be the cost of the certification is irrelevant, because I'm going to have the return of investment from save energy and be more efficient.
Gonzalo, you had one question from online?
Yes. Actually, there is one more question that is kind of linked to the one already made by the audience, but it says, which are the main impacts or trends you can observe in your industry arising from the current geopolitical crisis, mainly the war in Ukraine, and governmental decisions over environmental and energy transition?
Yeah, that's a large question, a very large question. So what we have seen from that situation is of course that we can overnight can happen that you have to rebuild and rethink about all your supply chain. That is what we learned. So we learned to be more flexible. So if we think of all, and I was talking also with Giorgio a few months ago about the district in Imola. So we have some district relying on materials that were coming from the Donbass and from really relying on one single provider from raw material. And same goes for gas, if we think about the situation of Germany. So we learned that putting all the eggs into a basket is not convenient. You may say this may have been pretty clear as a business manager even before, but sometimes, you know, fighting for the best pricing, fighting for the best provider drives also to that. The real effort I've seen, which has been also a trend over the last couple of years, is really a fast running towards renewable. So, but this, of course, as we said before, I heard this since I was in the primary school, renewables, renewables, renewables. So all the time is a reactive call. Now I have an issue, and so now is the fight and fast run to go there. So I think we learned again that that's a no way back to fossil. Even the carbon situation we have seen before, which can be temporary, but the situation might be sustainable, and so investing into renewable.
Okay. So I would have another question for you, actually, for you or Connie, because it's for both, actually. And you talked about a circular economy, you know, and so how everything should be reused, and this leads, in my opinion, to renewable energy more and more. But do you see realistic a scenario in which the 100% of the energy is produced from renewable sources, or do we still have a percentage of something that will not be so circular, that have some waste, and how to deal with that?
That's a very good question. Of course, let's say, as you said, have seen before, 70% is fossil and non-renewable energy. And again, I worked for more than 10 years in oil and gas industry, so I think it was one of the most complex industry and very where you could learn many things. So now the call of action is fossil energy is precious. Fossil sources are precious, and we need to trade them as are precious. We are eroding them too fast. This is going to have an end. We need to be realistic. When I was in the primary school, we said in 2020, in 2015 is going to be over. Then we discovered other oil, then we discovered the shale gas, then we discovered many things, the shale oil, etc. This is going to have an end. So, of course, the real question is how am I going to produce high power to keep stability, particularly for steel-making plants, so for high energy consumption. That's the real point. And so here the debate is how is the direction we are undertaking towards nuclear, and again, how the nuclear plants are going to work with the waste, because still the waste management is not 100% sustainable, and maybe the hope of hydrogen, and we heard a lot, where there are still several risks related to the hydrogen, like explosion. And again, let's say there are several also hydrocarbon non-fossil related. If we think about Brazil, Brazil is now running all their cars through alcohol. Alcohol do not take a million of years to be generated. So I think the future will have, of course, a portion of it, but we need to really understand that it's going to have an end.
Yes, thank you. I just want to add something that what we were talking about is just like price will lead the way, right? As I've shown and as you said before, the price of renewables is decreasing a lot. The price about doing this, the development of this project is decreasing. The price of the electricity generated by renewables is decreasing. So it's going to be competitive 100% compared to fossil fuels. That the price is it's the same. So I think that price there will lead the way, and it will be like the main drive or dimension or factor for us to just turn to renewable energy.
Okay, thanks very much. Thank you, Alessandro. So thanks to everybody. Now we will take a break, a coffee break, in which probably in that way in the room for who's here, and to the ones who are at home, see you in about a quarter of an hour. Yeah, quarter of an hour, half an hour at least. Yes. Okay, thank you. pure il panino qua, togliamo e disegno.
Bueno.
We will continue. We invited you to take a seat, please.
No, magari ha cambiato qualcosa. Welcome back, everybody. The president is always there. No, there, not there behind me, but there.
Absolutely, yes.
Great. In the heavens of internet.
Here I am.
No, because Gonzalo, it's very funny that we just hear your voice as a nice caress from above us.
Thank you. Thank you for the compliment, Luca.
Okay, so I think we are almost all. Just waiting for the last people to have a seat. So we can keep going with our reunion. Just a couple of things. Now we will have, the word will go to Alessandro Vezzil. After him, we will have our formal annual assembly. And after the assembly, you will find a new opportunity that the reunion is giving to his alumni. That is the Business Corner. Business Corner is a new opportunity to discuss and present the business of people of our community. So you will find desks with Patrizio, Roberto, with Raji, Franco, and Lisa. And you are all invited to join them and have a chat with them to let them explain what they are doing and what opportunities they are offering to the business world. So it's very interesting, and please have a chat with them. Now I leave the stage to Jessica, that will present Alessandro.
The next speaker, the last one for today, is Alessandro Vezzil. He's an economist with a university master degree from the Politecnico di Milano in energy efficiency and end use, an executive MBA 19. He's an expert consultant on environmental, social, and governance strategy and assessments. He supports companies in energy transition process to reduce the emission. Today, he is a consultant for the SNAM Group and is the coordinator and teacher of the Transition Management course of the Social Capital School of the Fondazione Finanza Etica. He is a founding partner for the innovative startup Papua, Products Against Plastic Waste. Today, connecting to our topic, he tells us about the smart packaging revolution. Alessandro, I leave you the stage.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thanks for inviting us here today. I'm very happy to meet you here where our entrepreneurial adventure began in 2018. My name is Alessandro Vezzil and I'm in charge in supporting companies in the energy transition, evaluating their investment in the ESG fields. In particular, I deal with the analysis of the investment choice in solutions that reduce environmental and social impacts. Above all, because each impact represents a certain or emerging cost for the companies. Today, however, I will talk about what's born right here in MIB, thanks to the work of Monica, Matteo, Gianluca, Paola, and then Arturo and Luca. And here was born the idea to try to change and reduce the impacts of our daily consumption choices as consumers, but to reduce also many impacts of the companies that of the modern food distribution model. Sorry. Let's start by remembering what we have heard from the speakers that talked before me, that humanity has a lot of problems. The climate's changing too quickly. Humans are taking sources from Earth and sea at such a speed that our planet is unable to regenerate them to keep life in balance. And we are consuming too much and have created an unsustainable level of well-being just only for the 20% of the world population and an insufficient level for the 80%. In countries where economy is rich, we are wasting food and water just because we can afford it. And for almost a century, we have produced non-recyclable goods, producing waste that is modifying entire areas of the planet and the seas, compromising life for the next centuries. And we are wasting energy, which we produce from resources that are not compatible with our life, by inserting this energy into products that could have a very long life on the planet, but that instead will turn into waste in a very short time. But there are some good news. We have understood that we must focus on the replacement of energy sources. We've seen it today. We understood how important it is to reuse and recycle materials and goods. We are slowly increasing our sensitivity to the environment and society. Think about what is going on about the organic market or the food waste legislation, the door-to-door collection, innovation in transport models, and research in the new packaging materials. And we understood that one of the most important inventions in human history plastic, is a material that has to be managed in its entire life cycle, and that disposable packaging is not always the correct choice for using plastic, and almost never for fresh or dry food products in our daily consumption model. Think about that. For every kilo of fresh or dry food we take home, we produce at least from 50 to 2,000 grams of packaging that, if we throw away in the separate collection, only 30% of these products will be completely or easily recyclable. Too often, some products of our daily life become waste immediately after purchase. This is the case with many of the packaging that wraps the goods we buy. Look at that banana. We pay them twice, with the product and when we have get rid of them with the tax, with the waste tax. A reduction of packaging, therefore, in addition of constituting an environmental advantage, also represents a saving in economic terms, more evident where municipalities has established a pricing model through which citizen pays not just for the quantity, for the quantities that, of waste given to the collection, and not just based on the size of our apartment. Papua started from here, from the idea of eliminating the waste of single-use food plastic packaging and fighting what we consider a regression of intellect by imagining a new returnable system of packaging. When Papua was born, there was still no law on disposable bags here in Italy. There was an European directive, but no law here in Italy. And for fruit and vegetables. And since the birth of that law, the market began to change the materials to be compliant with the law. Think about what happened with the plastic bags and organic plastic bags. But do not have changed the exchanging system. We believe that replacing non-recyclable materials with other of biological origin is just a passing or emergency solution that takes into account established habits or the poor ability of consumer to change their daily consumption process, but does not solve many problems. Using organic plastic does not solve the problem of the food waste, does not solve the problem of the impact of agriculture on climate change. Agriculture is responsible for the 30% of greenhouse gases emissions. Does not solve the problem of the use of the land that is destined to the cultivation of boxes and bags, and not for the food necessary to feed half of the planet. Does not solve the problem of the use of fresh water. Does not solve the problem of the waste generation or waste management. Does not solve the problem of the huge amount of transport. And so what? Well, Papua started by rebuilding the deposit-based system in the sector of modern organized distribution in integrated logistic logic. We introduced a new food packaging model optimizing the filling operation, management of deadlines, monitoring the purchasing method, and management of used packaging in order to improve sustainability and digitalization in the sector of food production and distribution. The process is based on the use by end user of a reusable packaging in place of the disposable one, biodegradable bags or prepackaged products, combining packaging reused with an advanced logistic management. The process allows industrialization of the washing service and the sanitized service of the reusable packaging for fresh food and guarantees the sanification on behalf of the retailer in the middle of the circles. Papua concept imagined to combine a packaging system adaptable to all types of fresh or dry food with a radio frequency device that allows an innovative service information for the retailers. Now imagine a packaging that can talk to a weighing machine and filling system, enabling information on the type of the product contained, the organoleptic characteristic, and the expire date. Imagine that the same packaging can talk to a payment system or could talk to an app on your smartphone that allows you to organize your weekly shopping, knowing what's inside your refrigerator and its expiration date. And with a refrigerator maybe giving you suggestions on what is best to consume to avoid food waste. We can consider intelligent packaging as a technological upgrade that allows packages to communicate data and interact with the environment, thanks to the inclusion of digital electronics device inside them. This means that the intelligent packaging will have capabilities and functions that far exceed the simply purpose of containing something. Now imagine being able to return this intelligent packaging by exchanging it for another and another clean and sanitized one to fill what you will need to buy for the next week. Through our concept, the packaging becomes reusable hundreds of times and becomes intelligent, as it can contain all the information useful for the packaging, for the transport, the trade, the collection, the consumption, but above all, for subsequent sanitation and reuse, because it will contain information on the residual useful life of the packaging itself. This will allow us to reduce the withdrawal of raw materials, water, energy, GHG emissions generated from the creation of this disposable packaging, extending life of each individual packaging, reduce the movement of vehicles by optimizing the logistic upstreams of the stores downstream the purchase. Think about what Benetton has invented with return logistic, or reverse logistic. Reduce the food waste, or reduce the purchase cost for the end user. Smart packaging is a market still in its early stage with only experimental application, nor an industrial sector close to maturity. But the global active and intelligent packaging sales grew during 2015-2019 from $4.95 billion to $6 billion, with an annual average growth rate of 5.15. Global active and smart intelligent packaging market is evaluated about $19.33 billion in 2021 and is projected to attain value of $29.5 billion by 2028, with an annual growth rate of 6.2. Think about what is going on about the market of the intelligent refrigerators, that the market size by 2025 is expected to grow to $4.55 billion. So what's next? Today, Papua is collaborating with the computer science department of University of Udine for the development of the communication protocols of the RFID tag, or radio frequency tag, and the functional system to create an app, or to create an app that could going on the market. And is collaborating with the Department of Psychology of the University of Bologna in the study of the process purchase of food products. Papua is the owner of an Italian patent, and now we're waiting for recognition of at international level. And today we're looking for lenders who believe in the development potential of the project at different levels. For the market launch of the food management app, for the creation of prototype of the smart packaging, the IoT, or in the sale of the exploitation rights of our idea to the industry. So I finished, so I want to thank you for your precious time and attention. Take care of yourself by taking care of the planet. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Alessandro. Is there any question from the audience about what Alessandro has explained? Or otherwise, Gonzalo,
yes.
Do you have?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I received one online which says, privacy is definitely a problem to manage. Have you thought about how to manage all the data collected by this smart packaging?
Well, it is a very important issue on several levels, I think, because the management of the exchanged data is, in one hand, it is one of the greater value of all the system, the economic system that I've described. On the other hand, it must be guaranteed by the data managers, on the companies involved. And I'm talking in specific about the retailers. Today, retailers already manage a lot of sensitive data through the loyalty cards, through the loyalty programs. So I believe that the same procedures should be applied in this case.
Thank you.
Gonzalo, do you have anything else? Or is there, oh, sorry, Gonzalo, there is a question here from Lisa. Yes, with the mic.
Bueno. Hi. I have a question regarding to this app. No? I think it's quite good, the concept of reusing the package, especially for all the world is become online purchasing. For example, Amazon, whatever, Taobao in China. Every day they generate so many packages, only one time using. So card, plastic, whatever. But I don't know, for example, this kind of idea, how to adapt with the big giant companies in the world in order to contribute.
Well, I think that market, as I told you, for the intelligent packaging, it's in his early stage. So we must wait a lot of different kind of evolution that in different countries or different models this system could have. There is also a company, it's an association that is called TerraCycle that invented something close to our idea that is called Loop. Loop is a system in which all the containers, all the boxes can be refilled not with food, but with other kind of products, and can be ordered and used by end users, and returned to the retailers, thanks to UPS service. In Europe, this model is working only in Paris nowadays. So, I mean, we have to wait some years to understand all the kind of models that can start from this. We have concentrated only on food. Okay.
There is a question from the stage.
Yes.
Great.
First of all, Alessandro, excellent presentation. Really love it. And I think one of the benchmark of what you are proposing and is happening is already on the transportation with the containers. On a larger scale, we can consider, let's say, as a smart package, this large container. And we can see many things working and not working depending on who owns the container. So how do you see the future of the smart packaging? Is this going to be something to be owned or rented? That's the question.
I think that if we're going to hope that this system will work really, I think that there's no possible to have so many different kind of packaging owned by so different owners. I hope that every retailer can adopt the system, not be the owner of the packaging. Okay, this will maximize also the if you think the washing system, that also in an economic stage will be optimized only if centralized. Okay, in my opinion.
Okay, yes, sure. Irma, if you can hand the microphone. Gonzalo, can you just confirm that you can hear what is said from the microphone online?
Yes,
yeah,
correct.
Okay, perfect. Thank
Perfect.
You. Sorry.
Then my question is, in your opinion, which is the material which will be the privileged one for the smart packaging of the future?
This is a very hard question because we don't think there is one perfect material. When the startup began 3 years ago, we started a collaboration with a spin-off of Trieste University to study which was the perfect material of for building a prototype that would resist to what we thought about the washing system. But we don't know if a washing system made of water and soap is the correct way to wash the package. Maybe could be ultraviolet. Maybe could be other kind of system to sanitize the packaging. And so this may change the material that we will use to build the boxes. If we were a producer of one kind of vegetable or fruit or meat or fish, we can choose to use one material perfect for that kind of product to be washed for the next use and contain the same type of product. Okay, so we don't think that material now is a choice that we can take. It depends.
Okay, thank you very much. Alessandro, if there are no more questions, we can thank you.
Thank you.
And you close. So now it's time to get to the assembly. Therefore, I think Teodora will take the stage. Just put Gonzalo on the video.
Thank you, Luca.
Okay, Gonzalo, we can see you and hear you. So, if you
want to... Thank you.
Fai tu con la presentazione.
Vieni, Teodora, vieni con me.
Okay, so now with Irma and Teodora, we will proceed to walk you through the slides we have prepared for the assembly. I don't know, is the presentation is already, yes,
Yes,
here,
Gonzalo.
that's fine. Perfect. So, well, let's move on to the second slide, please. Here we wanted to start this brief presentation by sharing with you which our biggest ambitions are. We feel that our role as a board has a lot to do with boosting integration. We also like to foster networking, as we have already done and continued doing the work of past boards in the sense of working with creating new networking opportunities. We like to, let's say, get an active involvement of people, as we do in the networking cafes, in some of the initiatives, the charity initiatives we have already started deploying. Our idea is also to help us all in our development, both in the personal and the professional areas. We are committed strongly, of course, to the beautiful city of Trieste, but also to the whole world, being a global association. And well, also our idea is also to boost love. Why not? As you all know, in the board we are 12 people. Moving on to the next slide, which we think very much reflects the, let's say, the nature of the association, because as you can see from the flags over there, we are people from more than 7 countries, which is quite a lot out of 12 people. During this period, we had a change in the composition of the board. We gave the welcome to Marina Brenere from Latvia. And we thank, I think Mario is there in the audience. If I saw correctly, we really want to thank him for his contribution. Thank you very much, Mario. Indeed. Let's move on to the next slide, please, Theo. In this case, let's say, just to share also this slide, if I remember correctly, we saw it last year. But let's say we really want to stress the fact that we are all about people. Yes, an association is made up of people, the school is made up of people, so we are always interacting. Our idea is always to be there and be able to help each other. How? Let's say by enlarging our network worldwide. This is something that happens every single year by definition. We are also trying to be more present at local levels via our ambassadors, to whom we thank a lot, and we will then spend a few slides explaining and thanking them. We are also giving support to international charity associations and boosting education. Here, when we spoke about enlarging our network, just a brief, let's say, a brief reminder of how we are composed in the association. We have above 2,600 graduates worldwide, representing 100 plus countries around the world. So again, this may seem like just some figures, let's say, but it's a reflection of what the school has created among 30 plus years of history, and something that makes us very, very proud. Again, even though in the board we are formally 12 people, part of it, we thank a lot our ambassadors and all the people who informally help us every day in deploying our program. Thank you. And well, now I pass the presentation to Irma. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Gonzalo. So continue talking about the association. Now that we are talking about sustainability, people, planet, profit,
One of the activities we have been done is a synergy with Plastic Free to clean Barcola. So this was on April. It was amazing. As you could see, a lot of people, not just from me, but also from other companies from the city participate, and was amazing. Also, there was ex-students, alumni that brought their family. So now it's something that we can replicate. Yes, we can make it again. Yes. If one of you want to make it in your city, in the place you live, you can raise the hand, contact the MIP board, the association, and we can help you to organize this volunteering day in your city. So this was the first one, but not the last one. Another thing we have been done is synergy with Regus Trieste and Regus Milano. I don't know if you if you know them. They are like spaces of smart working all over the world, but here in Trieste and in Milan, we got a 50% of discount if you want to join. Plus, we have one free day. So if you say, I am MIP student, you can go and you can be there one day working and looking the facilities they have. Since now you're gonna receive the mail from Valentina. Since now you're gonna receive the mail from marketing, so but now you know, as you are here, you have the priority. Another thing we have been done is we were working with the community of Trieste. You look here, before was the Presidente del Concilio de Trieste, Francesco Panteca, and we are working with them because we want to have places for smart working and co-working here in Trieste. There is one where Lisandro, that is an entrepreneurship from the MIP, where he is working, and he let us know this place. Unfortunately, the Comune of Trieste is the one that deals with this place. So it's an option for us to open the places so you can go there and work free, but this is just interesting. Another thing we're working with the Comune is the visibility for local events. So as the President mentioned just before, we're gonna have a stand in the Barcolana. So we're gonna make there some activities as MIP and this year. So look forward of us. Then another thing we're gonna make is the volunteering. As you could see, the plastic free, we already done, but there is another new company here, the BAT, British American Tobacco. They perform a lot of volunteering days, different kind of them, and we're gonna work together with them, inviting MIP Association, MIP alumni. So we can join also another volunteering programs. Another very important, very important event that we're gonna have is the MBA Cup 2023 that is going to be placed on Trieste from next year. Professor Pilotov, that is here, please raise the hand, that I think all of you know him. He would like you in your team. So if you play good soccer, please, next year, save the date, 27 and 28 of May, here in Trieste, to participate with us, and it's time to return the cup to Trieste, to the MIP. Since 2007 that we haven't won, so please enroll yourself next year, and let's win. Finally, ambassadors. Now we have more than 52 ambassadors. The main idea of the ambassador is that they are the first support of the city. So if a person arrives to the city, they can bring or cash them. Plus, they help us to organize aperitifs. They help us to organize MIP Cafe. But we are not just these 52. If some of you, as I told you before, if some of you want to launch an aperitif or launch something in your city, please contact some of the board and we could help you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Irma, Gonzalo, and everybody for being here.
I'm Teodora Cerato, board member of this great board, and I'm here to drive you through the action that we carry out and that also we want to deliver to our community. So since the beginning of our mandate, so it's 1 year, so we are in the middle already, we decided to arrange ourselves into 4 key areas and so working teams to better focus on which activity we think that are strategic for us and for our community. So here you can see a mix of activities, so the ones that are, let's say, our core business, and the other ones that are more innovative one and also very ambitious. So besides, for example, the networking that everybody knows about connecting alumni, organizing a big cafe, club, aperitifs, and get in touch alumni worldwide, we would also like to launch, for instance, a knowledge-sharing platform, and this in conjunction with the school, and we, of course, thank Vale and Savino for her continuous support in driving these activities. And besides this, we also have special programs, so you maybe also be involved, for example, in volunteering days and also D&I, LGBTQ plus activities that are really in our heart. And moreover, we would also like to launch always in 2023, the last year for our mandate, unfortunately, also mentorship programs, and we can also benefit from the knowledge about mentorship and coaching. So we have onboarded also Marina from this year, so happy also to have you. And of course, charity that we will see also in a while. And in the end, communication, so we will see the final slide also about this, so we will better discuss about our social channel, and we always need to adapt the tone of voice on for our communication plan. So now let's have a zoom on the charity that's also Gonzalo introduced at the very beginning. So as you see, tomorrow we have our golf tournament, the traditional golf tournament event. And this year, part of the participation fee will be dedicated to the onlus that is in Trieste, Bambini del Danubio. Whilst last year we decided to allocate part of our budget to Casa Internazionale delle Donne, and I also would like to thank Gabriella Carminati, our board member, who personally also take care of establishing a relationship with this organization. And we want to continue, of course, to support one each other. And last but not least, this year, due to the current very difficult times that Ukraine is facing, we decided to concretely put some concrete actions to support the country with the 2 main associations that you can read here for the collection of funds, but also necessities, so goods, and this always in conjunction with the school, MAB school. Now, okay, these are, we said before, our core activities, so networking, aperitifs worldwide, and here we wanted really to give you a visualization on how we communicate on our social media channel. So you can see here 6 of the out of 11, if I'm not wrong, of the aperitifs that happened this year. So you can see here also on the right some pictures of us from Trieste to we have Brazil, Hong Kong, Zurich, and Luxembourg. And also very, very happy because we have onboarded a new club in Zurich, and we are ready for the first one to be held in Dubai, and of course Trieste. So we will continue with this edition, like back to school aperitifs, so are coming soon. And if you want to organize this in your city, you can contact our dear Irma, who is sponsoring this kind of aperitifs all around the world. And then, this is also very important, we want to stress the importance on relying only on official social media channels in order to avoid any confusion, miscommunication that happened actually in the past. So now, yes, you can take your smartphone, decide to follow us, to get in touch with us. We are present on LinkedIn, of course, and Facebook, and now is becoming more and more fashion Instagram. So we are also here today taking live stories and sharing whatever. So it's very important for us to stay in touch, but also to hearing from you. Also, we can, for sure, hearing your voice and trying to meet your needs at the best of our efforts. And of course, if you have any doubts, any questions, any needs, you can also contact us at this alumni at mab.edu. So together with Valentina Savino, we will try to manage and also to meet your needs and so to come closer to you. I hope that you have enjoyed this presentation, and thank you very much for your attention. We look forward to hearing from you, and of course to meeting everybody tonight at our gala dinner night. Thank you.
Thank you to Irma and Teodora. So just a remark on something that Teodora said before. Please follow us on the official channels, because this time in this reunion, many people told us, I didn't know that the reunion would have taken place the 10th of September. So actually we did our best effort to communicate when the reunion was, and so just remember that we have some official channels, and all the communication is going through those channels. So follow us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp, whatever. And if you have any suggestion actually on how we can improve our communication and reach more and more people and alumni all over the world, please feel free and don't hesitate to contact us and to tell us even later on. So now, please visit the desks of our colleagues that are waiting for you in the back of the hall. And for the people who are online, a big see you, see you soon. And thank you all. Thank you very much for being here, because it's always difficult to cross all the commitments that everyone has. Thank you to the speakers that have done a great job. Really thank you. I would leave just one final word to our president that is away, if he wants to say a word for greeting the audience. Gonzalo?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Luca. A little bit what you have just mentioned. Thank you to all the school, the speakers. Thank you very much for your presentations. Thanks for the people who have decided to join in this first Business Corner edition. I know that, well, right now after, many of you will be there listening to them, speaking with them, networking with them. Thank you, fellow members of the boards, ambassador. Thank you, everyone. Indeed, it's been so far a great journey. Again, I'm really sorry I have not been able to be in person right now, but I know that I will see many of you at the dinner. Thanks.
See you at the dinner, Gonzalo. See you all at the dinner. Bye-bye. Thank you. And see you next year, too.
So we invite you here. We have 5 business corners if you want to join now. There is time now.
Listo?
Sì, sì.
Es optional. Come stai?
Stavo dicendo a Gonzalo che dobbiamo riorganizzare a Udine
a Udine.
perché